Hey everybody, my name's Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little different from my normal ones, but it's one that I've had in my head and have been preparing for pretty much since I started the vlog months ago. And that is a video with tips and tricks about dining alone. In my opinion, dining alone is one of the two basic activities that you kind of master before you go on to do other things by yourself. Dining alone and going to the movies alone. Those are the two. So once you've got those down, then everything else just comes a little more naturally and you're like, oh, okay, I can do this, I can do this. But dining alone is, I think, important because it also is kind of a prerequisite for doing other stuff by yourself, like going on a trip by yourself. It's hard to go and travel by yourself if you're not comfortable eating out by yourself. And so you kind of have to master that before you move on to something like a trip. However, I know for some reason that in our heads, there's still a stigma against dining alone. We think, you know, people are going to be judging us or that we're going to feel awkward or something. I don't know. But I know that it is easy to be scared of dining alone. I have been doing it for a long time, so I don't really feel that anymore, but I definitely did when I first started doing it. And I don't want you to feel that way because you really shouldn't feel that way. You should feel comfortable going out to a restaurant and enjoying yourself by yourself. So what I've done is I've chosen 5 different types of restaurants, and I have gone by myself and enjoyed myself, and I filmed most of it, and I'm going to give you tips and tricks. So take a look at those videos and then I will meet you back here to wrap things up. Good morning, everyone. So for my first restaurant, I chose my favorite breakfast place here in Dayton, and it's called the Blueberry Cafe. So I got here right as it opened. This can be a very busy restaurant, but as you can see, there's nobody else here, or at least not in this room. And so, yeah, if you guys are gonna go, one thing that you can do is try to go on their off times. And so can be a very busy restaurant, but I came right as soon as they opened and got a table. So if you guys are new to eating out alone, don't be afraid to bring something with you to occupy your time the first couple times. I mean, don't go overboard. Don't bring like knitting or anything like that, but like a book, your earphones so you can listen to a podcast or a book on tape or something like that. Just something small. So I've ordered and I'm just waiting for my food and I'm just watching the other people who are here and no one's looked at me. No one cares that I'm here by myself. You know, I was the first one seated, and so when the other people came in, they just did a cursory glance of the room like everybody does to see who was here. They noted me, and then they sat down. They haven't looked over at me since. So I know when I started eating by myself, there was a big fear of like, oh my gosh, like everybody's gonna be like looking at me weird and thinking like, oh my, why is she by herself? And you know, judging me. I haven't found that to be the case. And also, I would challenge you to look around the next couple times you go out to eat and see if you didn't see anyone else eating by himself, because I see them all the time, but we don't notice because we are usually with friends and stuff like that, and we don't notice. And the fact that you don't notice other people eating by themselves even though they're there is going to kind of show that nobody's going to notice you or eat, you know, or really mind that you're eating by yourself. So hope that helps. Alright, so my food has just arrived. I have an omelet with feta, mushrooms, spinach, and onions, a side of hash browns, and some sourdough toast. It looks delicious. Can I ask you, how often do you see people come in here to eat by themselves? Is it unusual, or do you get a lot of people? Yeah. Okay, great. So if you didn't hear her answer to my question, she said No, we get quite a lot of people coming here to eat alone. So, again, it happens more than you think. So don't be afraid to be one of those people. All right, well, I just finished at the Blueberry Cafe. I was going to film outside, but it is pouring right now, so I figured, well, the car is fine. I love that place. I go with friends, I go with family, and I go by myself. So if you're new to eating out, I really recommend going to a place like this, and by that I mean like a little like hometown mom and pop place. Because you heard me ask the waitress if they get a lot of people in there eating by themselves, and the look she kind of gave me was like, of course we do. Like, she thought it was a weird question because they get people eating by themselves in there all the time. They have regulars, and they will just go there by themselves if they can't find anyone else to go with. So my recommendation is to find a place like that near you. A little hometown mom and pop place that has regulars, that has people that just are comfortable going in. Nobody's going to look at you twice eating by yourself in a place like that. Well, I hope you guys had fun with me there. I will see you at the next restaurant. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next restaurant. I thought it might be good. Not everybody has like a hometown restaurant around them. And so I thought it might be good to do like a chain restaurant. And so we are going to Red Robin for lunch today because I am hankering a good burger. So let's go. All right, so I am shocked. It is like 10 to noon on a Saturday. And let me show you how not busy it is. Now this is just the bar, but I can see the restaurant and there's not very many people here. I walked right in, there aren't very many cars in the parking lot, so you'd be surprised. You might be able to come into a chain restaurant by yourself and get a table without much problem. Alright guys, I am not the only one by myself in here. There's another man sitting over in the corner eating by himself. I tell you, it's more common than you guys think. And the thing is, when you're here with people, with family and friends, you don't really pay attention to the other people in the restaurant. But people eat by themselves all the time, so you don't need to be worried that people are going to look at you like you're weird, because you're not weird. A lot of people do it. And it's becoming more and more common. So my main recommendation is just don't look sad. You know, those are the people I notice. The people who are kind of just staring at their plate, like hunched over, trying not to be seen, those are the people you notice. So don't be that person. Alright, I got the Mad Love burger. I have no idea what's all on it, but light, it's supposed to be a little spicy. And I can never resist onion rings. They are one of my vices. All right, so I just finished up in Red Robin. It was delicious. I did ask the hostess before I left if they got a lot of people come in that and dine by themselves, and she said yes, they all the time. She said that they had 3 people just this morning, and it's only probably 12:30. So now I generally don't choose to come to chain restaurants when I'm by myself, mostly because of the vibe. I like to have a more homey vibe just in general, but I do come frequently. And, you know, now that we know that they get people eating by themselves all the time, you shouldn't be worried to be one of them. It's all about how you present yourself, you know, have confidence. And if you don't, fake it, you know, until you actually get that confidence. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to go try to work off some of that very unhealthy food that I just ate, and I will see you guys at the next restaurant. Bye. All right, everybody. Well, we are at our next restaurant, and this one I picked specifically one that I've never been to before. And the reason is, when I've been talking to people who are not comfortable dining alone, one situation that came up was that maybe they're traveling for work and they don't really have anyone to go with, and they're not familiar with any of the restaurants, so they end up just either going to something like a chain restaurant, or more likely they go to like fast food or order in or something like that. And so I just kind of wanted to encourage you to step out, because fun thing about traveling is trying something new. And so specifically in those situations where you're in an unfamiliar area, I want to encourage you to go out and try something new. So that's what we're going to do today. We're in a city. We're actually in Newport. I just finished the aquarium, if you've seen the aquarium video. And so I'm going to go somewhere for lunch that I've never been before. So let's go. All right, so I'm here at Brothers Bar and Grill. It's right near the aquarium. I've never been here before. I'm not sure if it's a chain or not, but it's not one that's up near me. So I'm going to take a look at the menu and see what they got. Okay, I'm very excited about this because usually when you come to a place, they really, for people who don't like drink alcohol like me, pretty much your choices are soda or maybe lemonade, which I love lemonade, but I don't drink soda. And sometimes I do want something like just a step up from water. And they have a pretty cool selection of like mocktails and non-alcoholic drinks. So I might have to get one just because, yeah, I don't see these kind of things very often. All right, I did get one of the mocktails. It was called Sober on the Beach. I don't remember what's in it. I'll look at the menu again when I'm editing and put it in, but it looks good. It's pretty good. Not the best thing I've ever had, but it's fine. If you are nervous about coming somewhere new, come at sort of an off time. Like I came basically right when they opened, a few minutes after, so it's about 11:30 right now. So a little before the lunch rush, and it is Saturday too. So, and I'm just gonna discreetly turn you so you can see how dead it is. It's very easy to get a table. So, yeah, pretty empty. There's some people here, but yeah, I was able to walk right in and get a table, and I'm not surrounded by a lot of people. It's not very crowded, so I'm over here by myself, kind of in a private little corner, and yeah, it's pretty good. And here is the taco salad with blackened chicken. All right, well, I just finished up lunch at Brothers Bar and Grill. It's pretty good. It wasn't, the best restaurant I've ever been to, but not the worst, but it was fine. So here's my recommendation for going somewhere that you've never been before. First, don't start off like that. Start off what I've done in the past couple clips, going somewhere that you're comfortable with, somewhere that's maybe a little mom and pop place that is used to having single people or solo people in there all the time. But once you've got that down and you're comfortable with that, yeah, start trying places that you have never been to before. Start off in your own hometown. That way you're not completely out of your comfort zone, but then work up to like, hey, if you're traveling, then you're comfortable going to places that you've never been before because you've already done it in a situation you're more comfortable with. Well, that's it for this one. I will see you guys at the next restaurant. All right, well, we are at the next restaurant, and it is a fancy one. I thought, you know what, sometimes it's a special occasion and everybody else is busy, but you still want to do something special. So why not do it by yourself? So it is kind of busy, and I don't want to ruin everybody else's meal. So I'm going to maybe take some discreet video, take some shots of my food and the menu and stuff, and then I'll talk to you about it afterward, but I'm not going to talk to you while I'm eating. I'm going to try to be respectful for everyone else in there that are paying a lot of money for their meals. So yeah, the restaurant is called Metropole, and it's down here in Cincinnati, but let's go and try out this food.
Just the burger as it comes. Check out this place. So she's actually, that's something that I want to do. Picking off myself, I've got that.
Well, I just finished up my dinner at Metropole, which was a not super fancy, not like white tablecloths or anything, but just, yeah, a little higher end. I had swordfish, I had cheesecake. It was amazing. I am on my way across the street to see a musical, so check out my video for Funny Girl. I think it should already be up. If it's not, it'll be up soon. But I did ask the hostess on my way out, I said, how often do you get people coming in here and dining alone? She said, oh, all the time. So we think there's a stigma on eating alone. And it's really not there anymore. We just think it is. I was watching people, as people watching the whole time I was eating. Nobody looked at me weird. I was sitting very close to people on either side of me. None of them were like giving me weird looks like, what is she doing? Like, no, it's fine. And even if you want to go somewhere a little fancier, it is totally fine. Just, you know, if you're going somewhere fancy, maybe dress up a little. So yeah, anyway, I have one more restaurant I want to do, so I will see you guys there. All right, well, we're here at restaurant number 5, the Cheesecake Factory. And I picked this one because I wanted something that was going to be really busy. So I'm here at 6:30 on a Friday night. So one thing that people have said when they've talked about their hesitancy to dine alone is they talk about like when they're traveling by themselves, like for work or something. And they don't try restaurants because by the time they get out of whatever they're doing for work, every place is really busy and it's stressful to go somewhere like that by yourself and not really worth it. And you know, that's fair. I've never actually gone to a restaurant by myself when it was really busy. I always intentionally pick times when it's not going to be busy. So this is actually going to be a new experience for me. So I am going to go in. I'm expecting it to be very busy, and I'm just going to kind of see what it's like. I might not stay, and I might tell you guys in my wrap up of this video, yeah, stay away from busy restaurants if you're, by yourself, because it's not going to be any fun and you're going to want to wait a long time. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get to sit at the bar. Maybe because I'm by myself, they'll have a small table, that'll be ready before like a group's table would be. So I don't know. But I want to check. I want to check for you guys. So let's go and see what it's like. I might not film a lot because if it is busy, I don't like filming when there's a lot of people around. So I might just give you a wrap up later, but let's go in and see what it's like. All right. Well, let's start with that last video. That happened just last night. I went into Cheesecake Factory and was told that there was going to be a 45-minute wait. I was told that there was open seating at the bar, like kind of a first come first serve basis. But when I went over there was no open seating. So I decided not to wait. So yeah, I warned you in the clip from last night that might happen. And I just decided that, you know what, this isn't a restaurant that I have to go to. I'm not traveling and this is the last time I can go here. So I decided not to go. I just, came home and had dinner here. But if I had been like in another city or on vacation and this was a restaurant that I was really looking forward to trying and not one that I got to try other places or other times, I would have waited. I would have waited and put my name on the list and, and gotten a table and tried their food. But I just figured, you know what? I just decided not to do it last night. Now, I will say, I went back today for lunch. And so I thought, okay, so I'm not willing to wait for this restaurant if there's a 45-minute wait and there's no open seating in the bar area. But I kind of wanted to see like if there was a middle ground, because I've talked to you in some of those clips, I talked about going at off times and things like that and trying to go when the crowds aren't going to be very high. But what if it was a situation like I talked about in the third clip where you're maybe out of town, maybe you're on business and your only option for when you can dine is after, your workday has ended. And of course, that's when everybody else is eating too. So restaurants are busy. And so I really wanted to try to have the experience of going somewhere when it's busy and eating there so that I could report back. So I went back today, it's Saturday, and I went at 1:00 and I thought, well, maybe I can still get like a busy-ish experience and not have to wait for 45 minutes. So that's what I did. And it worked. I went and it was about a 20-minute wait, but there was open seating in the bar area. So I went and sat at one of the high top tables and got a salad and I brought a piece of cheesecake home. And yeah, I didn't record pretty much anything because it was busy. And as opposed to when I was at Metropole, it was decently busy there too, but I was seated at the side, so I felt like I could kind of discreetly film and not really interrupt people or bother people or make people feel uncomfortable. Like, that person is filming. What are they doing? Whereas I was sitting at a high table right in the middle of the bar. You know, I was within arm's distance from the people over, and there was no way to really discreetly film, you know? And so I just thought, you know what? I'm telling you is good enough. So what's my advice when it comes to eating at a busy restaurant? Well, of course, there's always going to be times when you don't want to wait. Either you're so hungry or you're tired or whatever. You know, that happens when I go out with friends and family too. You know, we go to a restaurant that we think we're going to go to, and then it's going to be an hour wait, and we're like, we don't want to go here that bad. So we go, you know, and find somewhere else. And that's going to happen to you when you're eating alone too. So I guess I want to address these restaurants in one situation. When you're somewhere unique, like on vacation or a business trip or whatever, wherever, and it's a restaurant you're never going to get to try again. And in those circumstances, I would say don't be afraid to wait. You know, I know it's going to be more awkward. I know you're going to have more people around you and things like that. But as I've been saying all through this video, nobody is going to care or watch you. So don't be afraid to like try something new, even if it's going to be a little uncomfortable because it's busy. So here are my final tips and tricks for dining alone. First, if you are new to dining alone, start off with somewhere you're very comfortable or with like a mom and pop place in your hometown, because either you're going to be just naturally comfortable because you've been there before, or like the mom and pop places, they have regulars come in all the time that dine alone and they're not going to think twice about it. And honestly, that's going to be the case for any type of restaurant you pick, is they all have people dine alone. We just don't notice. I think I mentioned in a video, we don't notice because when you and I are there with friends and family, we're focused on our friends and family. And so we're not focused on the people that are around us generally, unless they're causing a scene. And usually the people dining by themselves are not the ones causing the scene. So you just don't notice them. So that's my tip number one. Tip number two is if you're still nervous about doing it, bring something to do, like a book or maybe just earbuds. I will, even now, even though I'm comfortable dining alone, sometimes I just get bored. I'm like, okay, so I pop in my earbuds and I listen to a podcast or something. My next tip, and I know I said this probably a couple times in those clips, is don't look sad. Because those are the people that draw my eye when I'm noticing people around me, when I'm people watching. If someone is dining alone, I'm like, oh, there's another person dining alone, and I don't think twice about it. If they look sad, if they're just staring at their plate or, hunched over, that's when I notice them, because I think, oh, what happened to them? Like, they look like they, are someone to be pitied. So don't be that person. Don't be someone that should be pitied. Just, be yourself. And don't be afraid to look at people, not creepily, but, don't be afraid to people watch, and, that's kind of the fun thing about being by yourself, is that, you have time to just observe what's going on around you. Now, then my next recommendation is, if you can, try to go and dine there at like an off time, especially if it's a place that you're not very familiar with or comfortable with. Try to go at like maybe 4:00 for dinner. I know that sounds like an old person, but whatever. Or maybe 3:00 in the afternoon or something, maybe you have a big breakfast and then you're not hungry till like, middle of the afternoon, and then you can, go out for dinner or whatever. But just, if you can go at an off time, it's going to mean you're not going to have people right next to you. And that will make just things a little more comfortable for everybody. But if you can't avoid eating at like the high traffic time, don't be afraid to try something new, especially if you're not going to get a chance to do it again. Don't miss out on opportunities just because you're nervous about being alone. Just go out and enjoy yourself, and know that even if someone notices you and thinks that person's weird for eating alone, one, they're never going to come over and say that to you, so who cares? Two, who cares what they think? Like, you're having fun, and that's really all that matters. So I hope this was encouraging. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer specifically, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a subscribe, and follow me over on Instagram at Lead the Life Vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.